If you are watching this video right now and you have feelings about leaving the classroom, your feelings are valid, and I don't want anybody to make you feel like you're less of a teacher, you're less of a person because you're having these thoughts. Because you know what? Here's some real talk. Those people that you are scared are going to be rolling their eyes at you, they're not going to pay your bills and they're not going to fix your mental health. Hey y'all, it's Amber. Welcome back to my channel. By the title of this video, you're probably curious where on earth is this coming from. So since I've been back on Instagram and I've announced, hey, I've been in ed tech for a while now, I've received quite a few DMs asking about my journey in ed tech, how I made the transition, what it's like, and for the most part, I just direct teachers to my video about why I left teaching but didn't really, and then things I learned about my transition. But what I'm noticing is an uptick of people asking questions more deeply. And what that tells me is that there are some bold teachers that really want to ask, and then because of that, there's probably some teachers that want to ask but are unsure who to go to. So if you're a teacher that is looking for options as the school year comes to a close, then this video is for you, so keep watching. Hold the phone before we actually get started in this video. I just want to say, before I even get into the mistakes that teachers make whenever they're looking to transition out of the classroom, is that I'm not trying to take you away from the classroom. I'm not trying to tell you that life in ed tech is better than teaching. That is not the purpose of this video at all. Okay, so I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. I'm noticing questions in my DMs and I'm bringing it to light on this channel as well. And whether you have these feelings, if you are watching this video right now and you have feelings about leaving the classroom, your feelings are valid, and I don't want anybody to make you feel like you're less of a teacher, you're less of a person because you're having these thoughts. Because you know what? Here's some real talk. Those people that you are scared are going to be rolling their eyes at you, they're not going to pay your bills and they're not going to fix your mental health. And that may be a pretty aggressive and just real talk comment for this channel, but your happiness, it is your story to tell, it is your life, it is your happiness. And if this is something that you are seeking to bring you happiness, then I am here for you to support you every step of the way. If you want to stay in the classroom next year and that's going to bring you joy, I'm here to support you every step of the way. So this video is for teachers that are interested in just maybe I'm thinking about transitioning into the ed tech life. What mistakes am I making whenever I'm applying? This video is for you. So if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I have a slew of ed tech behind the scenes and teacher marketing videos as well. And even if you're like, I don't know about this video, but you appreciate the honesty that I'm giving in this video, then go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Okay, let's get started. The first mistake I'm noticing teachers are making as they're looking to transition out of the classroom is that you're not recognizing the skill set that you bring to the table. Your understanding of the education space and all of the associated skills that you've picked up being a teacher are so invaluable. Where do I even begin? You know how to juggle so many different things, and you do it with a smile on your face, okay? You are resilient, you are determined, you will not give up, and you are a creative problem solver. Think of how you manage to make all of these things work in your classroom. It's the same in any role. I can't tell you how many times I've been asked to do something marketing-wise, and I'm sitting there like, well, this is where my teacher mindset kicks in because I'm creative, I'm a problem solver, and I'm gonna take that half-baked idea and I'm gonna make it a beautiful painting, and I'm gonna figure out how to blow it out of the water, and I know you can too. So don't demean yourself. Don't think that because, oh, I'm just a teacher, that you're not gonna bring that to the table. You are. And if you need me to be your hype girl, I am she. It's me, okay? So we just need to make sure that we are on the same page with that. Definitely another one in relation to your skill set being invaluable is you understand empathy towards teachers like nobody else because you were in that position recently. It's so difficult for somebody who has never been a teacher, who has never had, I'm not even going to go into all of it, but you just know the stresses that are involved with teaching. And for someone to have to market resources to a teacher when they don't really understand the language, that connection that they're making is not as authentic as if you're talking. I can't tell you how many times I've edited somebody's copy or offered feedback because the way that something was being marketed or the way that something was being said just missed the mark towards the time of year that teachers are feeling, the teacher sentiment based on what's going on in the world, and just an understanding of that education space. So you have that and you don't even realize you have it. Another example with this is the alphabet soup of education acronyms. There are so many words, differentiated, personalized. There are so many different words that if you say it in the wrong sentence could mean something completely different, or people know you're not being authentic. But you and I, with knowledge as former teachers, or your current teacher, but you know what I mean, you know how to speak the language to the teachers where it's most going to resonate with them. That is something that somebody that has not been a teacher, they can do a decent job, but former teachers know when it's not authentic. I just get really passionate about this piece because it speaks volumes, and that's why this is the very first mistake. You have so much to offer and you don't even realize you have so much to offer. So understand that the skill set that you bring is absolutely invaluable. The second mistake I'm noticing teachers are making as they're looking to transition out of the classroom is they don't realize how important Twitter and LinkedIn are to getting their name out there. And this is not just in ed tech, other education spaces in general just so happen to be on Twitter more than Instagram. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Instagram, and I actually was never on LinkedIn until I accepted my ed tech job, but it was Twitter that brought me to my current job. And if you don't know that story, I'll leave it linked up here so you can watch it and hear about how I transitioned into ed tech. But that aside, if this is something you are considering, please create a LinkedIn account. I will leave my LinkedIn profile below. Connect with me. Putting those keywords of what you're seeking, but also what you've done, and making connections with other people in the ed tech realm is definitely going to get you noticed. Trust me, I was never on LinkedIn. I know I said that already, but it's just one of those things that you should just be on LinkedIn. Twitter is definitely another way to get noticed. I'll talk about that in another mistake later, but you can definitely network with other community members and those in the ed tech space on Twitter as well. The third mistake that I'm noticing teachers are making as they're looking to transition out of the classroom is a big one, especially from those that I've been talking to in my DMs, and that is that your resume is reflective of your teaching experience and not the role that you're seeking to get. And let me explain that. For example, if who I've hired for a social media coordinator, social media interns to help me do our job for these ed tech companies, and if somebody is only putting things related to, I've done small groups in my classroom, which are great, don't get me wrong, but I've, did this classroom management strategy. That's great, but what does that pertain to the social media role that I'm hiring for? So then if you have a teachergram or something, that's something that you should put on your resume and blow that up. Have you helped other companies with social media or any businesses in your area with social media? That's something that you should blow up. I and other people will look at your resume, and if it's only reflective of teaching and it's not tailored to the role that you're doing, where's the relevance there? For example, many teachers who transition out of the classroom get roles such as in professional learning services, customer success managers, because you're training teachers to use the product, and that's no difference in skill set in terms of like training students to understand the standards. You see how I talk about your work being invaluable and how it can transfer over? That's another example. So with this one, let's say you are applying for a role as a customer success manager and you want to show your skill set on your resume is applicable to that customer success role. Have you ever led a training at your school to onboard teachers to use a new product, a strategy, or just something that you've trained them on? That's an example of training teachers that is applicable to the customer success role. Look at the skill set that they're seeking and the roles and responsibilities that they're seeking, and then think about what you've done and how you can tailor that to fit that role. Again, I'm not telling you to lie, but I'm telling you to think more deeply about what you're doing in relation to that role. That is absolutely huge. Also, corporate jargon is a thing, y'all. It was so weird to me, and it still gets me sometimes. I chuckle when I hear some of these words, but I guess in education, we say some of these as well. There are so many words that spark that like, ooh, whenever you are talking to another person in corporate. So something to think about as well when putting on your resume. Also, resume power words are a thing, y'all. I just Google it. I have this up on my computer right now because I wanted to just show the difference in what something could say and how it can just enhance your resume that much more. If you had a student teacher and you want to put that on your resume, because that is training, that's in corporate, that's like manager experience, right? So instead of saying I had a student teacher for a year, isn't it mentored and managed student teacher from X university for the school year? Like just mentored and managed. That sounds so silly, but corporate people eat that up, y'all. So just think more deeply about the power words that you're using to start off your sentences on your resume. I'll give you a few examples. Motivated, achieved, strengthened. Maybe there was something you did with your PLC that you strengthened a process. Coordinated, managed, orchestrated, streamlined, prioritized, delegated, formulated. I know these are so crazy, but they mean all the difference on your resume. So I'm gonna link just this one that I'm looking at right now down below, but you could just Google resume power words and so many are gonna pop up. So that is a mistake that I'm noticing, is the resume is a huge one, and that one's gonna get your foot in the door. We could have tons of conversations about, I notice things are too cutesy and they're too colorful and the font is off. I have a very particular preference for resumes, but obviously the meat inside the resume matters as well. But sometimes cutesy isn't gonna work in the corporate world, and it's kind of sad. That's, my desk is gonna be cutesy, but maybe some of the things I push forward isn't. But again, that's me getting off task. So if you want to talk more about resumes a little more deeply, I'm more than happy to do videos about that. Just let me know. But start off with the content inside your resumes. Huge. The fourth mistake that I'm noticing teachers are making as they're looking to transition out of the classroom is that they're getting discouraged too quickly without looking to seek other options to get their foot in the door. And I totally understand if you're sending a bunch of applications and you're just kind of getting zero return on that. It can be pretty discouraging, and I want you to know that I feel for you, and it's okay for you to feel upset about that. I'm not saying you can't feel upset. What I'm saying is there's other creative ways to get your foot in the door. And I kind of mentioned it earlier when I talked about Instagram and Twitter. That's why that one was so quick. But how can you start networking and getting your name out there so then you're more heard of in that specific role or that job that you're looking for, that company. Sorry, why was that so hard to pull that word from? For example, Nearpod has a Nearpod chat every week. What if you were seeking to work at Nearpod and you asked if you could host a Nearpod chat, one of them every month? Even though I don't have particular pull for that role that you're seeking for, if you're getting your name in the door and I'm like, wow, this person's doing a good job, I may say something to somebody else and then it like goes down the grapevine, and it's not always 100% accurate, but getting creative, again, being that creative problem solver that I know that you are, teacher, that is just one way to think about that. Also, can you do contracting work? When I first started at Nearpod and I took control of the blog, because I couldn't believe Nearpod wasn't posting on the blog, but that's like a whole other story, I recruited my teacher influencer friends to help me write for the blog, and some of them actually ended up doing paid contract work for us later on, and it's because of that ability to get their foot in the door and get seen. And then also it's driving traffic back to you. If you're applying for other roles, you can put that on your resume as experience in the space. So just think how it can be mutually beneficial for both of y'all. Another thought is to think about joining an ambassador program for the company that you're looking to work for. So I know Seesaw has ambassadors, Class Dojo has ambassadors. There are so many ambassadors all over. And again, this isn't a foolproof way to get directly hired. If you become a well-known community member at that company, then you could possibly get asked to do specific speaking engagements or partnering with them on certain events. And that again is going to fuel your resume as support that you've done. And additionally, it's going to help them realize the value that you could bring if you were a full-time employee there. Okay, let's recap. It's okay to get discouraged. Your feelings are valid. Trust me, I get it. At the same time, let's try to think of some creative ways that you can become well known, or at least use this time that you're applying to also pad your resume with other opportunities that you're doing at other companies, so then you get more of that experience that you're seeking, so then people are more likely to look twice at your resume. I hope you appreciated the honesty of this video, and I promise, I was not intending to rub anybody the wrong way. I was kind of nervous posting a video like this because I'm not trying to pluck you out of your classroom, but I just know that if there are a few people that are asking me questions in my DMs, there's probably some more that are just unsure who to ask. So you can always ask me. I'm here to be your biggest advocate in whatever you want in the classroom or out. Remember, your feelings, however you're feeling, they are 1000% valid. And if you live your life for other people, it is not your life then. So I hope that you appreciated me just being honest with the different tips I've noticed teachers are making. If you're looking to get more support in your resume, I have been helping teachers just silently in my DMs, that I decided to create an offer through my Teacher Marketing Academy. I'll leave the link down below. What the teacher transition support will give you is that if you have a role that you're seeking for and you already know which one it is and you have your resume draft already written, you can pay a fee and I will edit your resume as if I was applying for the role based on the skills that you put there and the role, to make it more corporate-y and have that oomph that'll get you that second look. And the goal with this is that you will now have your strengths written more concretely that you can then use and replicate for other roles that you're applying for. So I hope that something like that, if you're looking to leave the classroom, will be beneficial to you. Again, I'll leave the link down below. If you're not interested, it's okay. I just want to make sure that people know I'm here to help. And if you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you never miss an EdTech behind the scenes or teacher marketing tip with me again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week, and I will see you in my next video.